Hi guys. Okay, so we're actually down to the second to the last or third to the last session of Media Civics Lab. I hope that they're all okay in their respective homes and sana ay safe kayo, walang mga typhoon, mga weather disturbances na na-experience niyo right now. Um, excuse ko din yung background noise on my end, no? Kasi maraming nangyayari na mga paandar ang green belt right now. But I hope that you're all okay. Sana marami kayong natutunan in our learning session last night. I've heard na marami kayong mga insights na nakuha sa learning session with Jules on online trash talking. So tonight, we're actually going to be talking about a different topic. And the topic for tonight is going to be women and gender in media. And I know that women and gender media is also a big area for discussion, especially with the media landscape. Kasi with the feminist movement rising, with women being more involved in different media roles, we have to mainstream this conversation. And it's a welcome news, no? Kasi a lot of marginalized groups are taking active roles right now. And me and women should be part of the core focus in the media conversation. So to start off, we need to talk about how women and gender in general are actually included in media conversations. And this trickles back down to social media, to online platforms, the Me Too movement, and the usage of such kinds of pronouns in these different platforms. Alam mo, ang media literacy and awareness, it even expands to bigger causes that we actually that are lobbied through these platforms. We're talking about Me Too movement in general, starting off from the ground and then translated into bigger causes and advocacies and policies. So, for tonight, to shed light on this topic is an instructor who you've already met before. She's Mel Aguilar. Mel is a media studies and film lecturer, offshore content manager, and filmmaker. At ito yung maganda about Mel kasi ito talaga yung advocacy niya. Yung women, media, literacy and awareness, at saka yung pagpopromote talaga ng role ng women, especially with breastfeeding, no? It's really one of her core advocacies. Now, Mel is my classmate in the US when we studied media in Ball State University way back in 2011. She's also a contributor for various international film and media journals and is currently taking her doctorate degree in UP Diliman. So I'll hand over the mic to our speaker for tonight on women and gender in media, Mel Aguilar.
Thank you so much, Gab, for having me again for the third time. And thank you so much again for giving this opportunity, this very great opportunity for me to share with you. What Gab said, one of my advocacies that I'm really passionate about. So I've been seeing familiar faces. So I hope you guys enjoy tonight's, and I hope that you'll be able to get a lot of learnings from tonight's session. So I'll just share my screen with you. Okay. Can you see my screen, everyone? All right. Okay. Good. Good. All right. So let's kick off this session. All right. Let me just adjust some of my plugins here. Okay. Anyway, so thank you so much again, Gab, for that intro. So tonight's topic is a really timely and hot topic, especially in digital platforms now. So it's something that has been, online violence against women is a very broad and timely topic that needs to be discussed today, especially that in digital media unregulated platforms and media messages. So just to give you a summary of tonight's session, so give you an intro. Media has a significant impact on how social and cultural norms relating to women and gender form and evolve. And women's image and the role that women play in the media are, of course, heavily influenced by the existing social and cultural norms. We all know that, no? And this short course tonight aims to provide you an understanding on how women are misrepresented in highly unregulated digital media platforms. And that, of course, involves social media. And they are also equipped with legal concepts and information on how to battle online-based violence. So, hindi lamang tayo magdi-discuss about, the current issues concerning women in media, or in especially in digital platforms, but also you will be able to get information on how to battle these issues, no? So this is actually quite a long topic, or I hope lang na sana kasya yung oras natin for tonight, no? So, but if ever you need some additional resources, you can just let Gab and his team know, so that I can also give you some additional resources moving forward, because this is something medyo technical siya, no? So, and this is heavily ang topic ng online-based violence against women is sort of a very technical, and a lot of legal technicalities are also involved here. No? So I will also discuss to you a little bit about cybercrime law as well. Okay, so let's skip that. So objectives for tonight's lecture, first is to develop an understanding of the core concepts in media, gender, and representation. So we have to start from the foundations and the basic. So we'll define and point out how women are involved in media, and their current, and how they are currently represented in mainstream, especially in mainstream media, and also to provide you an overview of the current status of gender representation in Philippine media. Of course, we will be localizing the issues, and relate real life experiences and situation in assessing stereotypes and offensive media messages relating to gender. And also, one of the most important goals for tonight is for you to develop a critical sense of the online world to guard all forms of online-based violence. Of course, hindi lamang ito on women, but also in all genders, no? And for everyone, and for everybody's safety as well. And also be equipped with relevant information and tools to battle online-based violence. Okay. So let me just go through the outline. So first we'll go through, we'll cover a little bit of gender representation in media in general, and we'll tackle some terms that we will come across along the way as we go further into this topic: gender representation in Philippine media and gender equality in the Philippines. So I will give you a little bit of a situationer plus some case studies now, so that you can relate to it, and in order for you as well to assess your current understanding in your assess your current understanding, and how well you relate to these issues nowadays, especially here in the Philippines. And we'll also discuss gender-based harassment and hate and cyber-related laws, and of course, and how do we battle online-based harassment. Okay. So, big question. How are women and other genders represented in media? Okay. Okay, so this is something, this is a very interesting trivia. So, for example lang, para makarelate kayong lahat. So, sino pa naman ang hindi nakakilala kay Angelina Jolie? So, we are talking about women in media. So, in the US, no? So, just so you know that the highest paid female movie star currently is Angelina Jolie. So, interesting thing about her current income is that she makes about the same per movie as the two lowest paid male stars. So these male stars are Denzel Washington and Liam Neeson. So gets you. So she's the highest paid female actress, but then katumbas lang ang kanyang salary ng lowest paid male stars. So where is how does that balance out? So why is that so? Well, simply because she's a woman, and of course they have different rates in Hollywood. So that's one thing. that's quite a trivia to look into. No? So her $33 million paycheck is dwarfed by the 75 million paycheck of Robert Downey. No? So that's based in a magazine feature back in time. And so let's try to focus now on the Philippine situation. Ngayon, localized naman tayo. No? So we'll try to look a bit into some statistics naman. No? So gender representation in Philippine television ads. Okay, in a particular study, there are 254 unduplicated primetime Philippine television advertisements from 2010 for differences in gender representation. So this is involved dito yung 254 primetime TV ads no, in this study, and it indicated a high prevalence of gender differences and stereotypes in Philippine television advertisements. So some of the things that has been found out in this study is that more males were shown in the workplace. So that's around 17.9% versus 7.4% from the females. And more females were shown at home. So in these ads, most of the ads that have been shown back when the study was conducted, females were shown mostly at home. So yun yung mga ads ng, of course, for example, yung mga related sa cooking, products that relates to food, and also domestic products. No? So most oftentimes, like it's really common, no? Even when you just simply turn on the TV, for example, ads ng Nor or whatsoever na involve yung cooking. So it's always the nanay who does the cooking, always in the kitchen, always at home, taking care of the kids. So yun yung nakita sa may statistics, sa may study, no? And more often, males were generally fully clothed, and females were often suggestively dressed in some advertisements, or like in most advertisements. So that's 52% versus the meager 6.6%. And that more males than females delivered voiceovers. So it's very usual that in advertisements wherein there are voiceovers that are being delivered, it's mostly the male who does the voiceovers in shows, no, and other and even in the movies, no. So it's always the males who does the voiceovers. And product categories were stereotypically associated with gender as well. So, like for example, for products at home, cleaning products, cooking products, and everything that involves the home, it's often associated with women, and oftentimes women are the ones who endorses those products. Okay. All right. So just this is an interesting an infographic here on the side. So it says here that Filipino men describe themselves as strong, proud, brave, courageous, daring, attracted to women, rational, and capable of fulfilling responsibilities, while Filipino women are also expected to have no major vices, should be submissive, be loyal, and forgiving to your partner who is likely to stray. Ganun yung mga common na mga media representations dito sa Philippines. And especially, this is very common in teleseries. Now, so from rags to riches, the very mabait and Maria Clara-ish Yaya falls in love, or the boss, or this high-profile rich guy gets attracted to this mabait and Maria Clara-ish Yaya or sales lady. So it's the typical it's the convention we see in TV shows nowadays, especially in Philippine prime time. No? So just to go back, so in this particular study, the results results show that gender stereotyping is high in the Philippines, assuming that equality is the basis of comparison for gender stereotyping, and that stereotyping is more prevalent when advertising deviates more from gender equality. So very sad, and it's still recurring, no? So it's something that's, of course, kasi yung history ng if we go back to history, no, ng Philippines, we're a feudal country. So hanggang ngayon, perpetuated pa rin ang macho feudal system. So it's something that we should, of course, nowadays should counter. And I'm really glad that a lot of, even in digital media, even though these issues are still recurring, there have been movements, no, like what Gab mentioned, the hashtag Me Too movement, no, but actually, Me Too movement started way back in the 1980s in if I'm not mistaken, in somewhere in Britain. So ngayon, it's been brought out to the public, especially in the digital platforms, especially in social media, the hashtag Me Too movement. These, just so you know, this campaign or um, this initiative is for women to voice out. No, this is very common to rape victims. No, so hashtag Me Too movement. It's on the rise. Okay. And some other things that need to be considered in following the results of this study is that gender stereotyping was found in the following, no, areas. First, settings in which more males were found in the workplace and more females were found at home, and the degree of dress in which more males were fully dressed and more females were suggestively dressed. So ayun, I've also mentioned voiceovers, which employed more males than females, and product categories in which cosmetics and toiletries. Yan, I've also mentioned products that are related to the home, so cooking, cleaning products, no, and also cosmetics, most especially, were associated primarily with female characters, and product categories were stereotypically associated with, hence, product categories are stereotypically associated with gender. So, ayan. Also, certain ad pitches in this study, no, showed noticeable gendered differences across platforms. Women and men continue to be associated with beauty and youth. So it's always, if it's the skin whitening and pampakinis products, always it's always the females who does the endorsement. So here, there's an example here. So there's a also in products, women are associated with body image, no, and how ideal body images should be depicted. Um, normally, no. So in here, they are sort of normalizing this particular ad here. No, so they are ito naman ay isang advertisement for an anti-obesity sort of a pill, or um, sort of a not really medication, but it's something that you take in order for you to control your weight. No, so this one is less of fat. So may tinatago ang taba. So what we frequently see in ads and in shows is that you always get to spot women who has this slim figure, white, fair skinned, straight hair. So that's the typical depiction or representation of women in advertising. So, and just to continue, overall, the ads feature more men than women. And the same is true for print versus radio, TV. So it's across all the platforms, no? There's a common denominator always, no? And when they represent women, so like what I've mentioned, women are clothed in or clad in sexy outfits or something that could, titillate some senses, shall we say, no? So why is that so, no? So that's one thing, that's a very glaring question to ask, no? And more men than women enjoys restaurants, retail outlets, and malls. So the common representation or depiction of women is that women are shopaholics. Women love consumer products. Women are depicted as, consumerists, and love shopping, into makeup always, should be prim and proper, should always be in sync with the latest trends. So ayan, and there are also um a lot of women are involved or are included in advertisements that involve alcoholic beverages. So we all know. I'm not sure if you're aware of the white of the yeah, of course, all of you are aware of the um, Tanduay tag nito, ads. And there is one thing, it's back in the 80s or 70s, wherein they have this, they pass it down to um, in by generation, this particular white camisón with the white horse. I forgot the name of this campaign, but ayon, so there's this classic ad back in the days wherein um, there's this stunning Filipina or Maria Clara depiction of woman clothed or clad in a white camisón dress um, na medyo basa, no? And then she rides in a white horse, no? I forgot the name of this campaign, but anyway, so I'm just not sure because hindi naman tayo some of you are, of course, younger than me, so that's back in the days. It's around 1980s or 70s. And then parang si Roxanne or Valerie, Roxanne Ginoo also did that campaign, so it has been passed down. So ayon, so it's that very famous white camisón ad, no? It's an alcoholic it's an alcoholic beverage. So sorry about that, I forgot. So you can look it up in the internet if you want. So that's the controversial white camisón girl ad, no, that has been passed on in generations. So anyway, some more facts. More women than men endorse hygiene and beauty products. I've already mentioned that. Between genders, women or men are more likely to be typical consumers. And the roles are very familial. And was the biggest category with more women than men being depicted in this role. So lagi yung the women are the ones who are taking care of the family, and most ads depict women situated at home, taking care of the kids, preparing the meals. So ganun yung typical na representation in Philippine ads. So that is what has been found in this study. Okay, homemaker. So I have already mentioned that. Okay, let's flip this. All right. So those are the things that has been found, no, in on how media in the Philippines, especially ads, TV advertisements, even in print and radio, no, on women. Now, let's try to look at the situation of how gender equality has been by far, no, here in the Philippines. So the Global Gender Gap Index of the World Economic Forum shows that the Philippines is slipping 3 spots from seventh place. No? So, and the Philippine Institute for Development Studies also stated that even when unemployment rates dropped more rapidly for women than for men, no, and in a report by HR in Asia, it has also been found that 76% of male respondents in the Philippines deal with inequality and prejudice in the workplace. So this is very common. And I know that a lot of women are currently struggling with this issue. So some of the things that are involved in this particular issue are, of course, harassment in the workplace, um, um, harassment in the workplace, unequal salary rates, no? So there's no iba yung rates ng male managers compared to female managers. No, it's there's still this kind of stereotyping that has been occurring in different sectors here in the country. So not only and like in this specific stats, no, it's very prevalent in the workplace. So labor issues siya. Okay, and so when we talk about HR, naman, it's been reported that 76% of female respondents in the Philippines deal with inequality and prejudice in the workplace, with 17% admitting to being questioned about their desire to have a family during interview processes. So, nagiging factor or point of concern yung pagpapamilya ng isang babaeng empleyado. Why? Because of course, she's going for maternity leaves. So, while we already have the expanded maternity leave, which is 110 days, no? In some countries, if you compare it with some countries, medyo okay na nga lang, at least meron na tayong expanded maternity leave. But did you know that in some countries, they have like 6 months of maternity leave and even paternity leaves, no? So, but here in the Philippines, I think that was back in 2017, 2016, na naaprubahan yung ating expanded maternity leave. That is for women to care for themselves and breastfeed for their child for 3 months. But of course, it is advised, no, for women to breastfeed their babies exclusively for 6 months. So, but so in this current situation, labor conditions and situation that we have here in the country, for women, especially me, I can really relate to that, no? Because I have been exclusively breastfeeding my children. I'm just lucky that I've had my ways, no? And I made sure that I've arranged things for me to breastfeed my child. But what about the other women who only have their work, no? And how about the women who are not regulars, no? Or yung mga JO lang, no? Who are just paid by the day or by the hour, no? So paano naman sila yung walang mga benefits, no? So that's also one thing to look into, no? So the labor conditions of women, if they are um if they serve the current situation of women, or if there needs to be some or we need to do something about that, no? So that's one big area to look into, the labor conditions of women today. So because I'm just so you know, women, it is mandatory, or it is a responsibility, or it is a right for women to go for a leave for their after giving birth, for their bodies to recuperate, and in order for them as well to feed their for them to breastfeed their baby, because the mother's milk is the only food babies can get, no? So it's also another area naman of or point of discussion. So ayun. So just a very sad fact that we have to face, no? And so ang ginagawa, so just imagine the struggle of women, kung paano nila tinatawid yung another 3 months for them to exclusively breastfeed their child, no? So kanya-kanyang para-paraan na lang for now. So but I hope that in the future, the government and the institutions could do something about that. Mas expand pa natin yung ating maternity leave. Okay? So, ayun. So, it's a point of concern in most workplaces. Na. So, tinatanong nila kung single ka, tinatanong nila kung may mga anak ka na, because that means, of course, it's a factor of balancing out family life. No, it's also especially true in remote working. No, so for those who are into remote working or have been um, who are freelancers, no, or working online or are home based, no, it's a very common question from employers, no, especially foreign employers, if you have a family or if you have children, because sabi daw nila may potential distraction daw yung of course tending for your children and attending to family related things. No? So, ayan. Okay. So now, let's look into some case studies. No? So that para lang din makarelate tayo and so that you can also be able to link your own experiences and also analyze the current situation here in the country. Okay, so for the case studies, we'll go back again, no, to the foundation of the topic for tonight. So we are talking about representation of women in media. No? So this is actually a very common topic in my media studies lecture. No? So this is a very heavily media studies influenced um, case study. No? So um, you might I know that most of you, or like some of you, are very familiar with Disney, and some of us, or like most of us, actually grew up with Disney cartoons, no? So, sino pa naman ang hindi mahilig kala Snow White, Cinderella, ngayon Moana, Frozen. So, ayun. But this is actually a very hot topic and one of the main topics discussed in media studies. No? So, what is the problem with Disney princesses? No? So, there's a research, no, that finds that young girls who are heavily into videos and merch featuring Disney princesses are more likely now to behave in gender stereotypical ways. So, this is one thing we can look into. So, back in the days, now, so you have, of course, let's just take, for example, Snow White. Kung paano siya dinipict. Of course, Snow White is a princess. Snow White has fair skin. She's slim. And if you look into the narrative, no? If you look into the narrative, Snow White was lost in the forest, and she was and yung ending is that she was saved by a prince, na? So the true love's kiss, and then there's always this a threat along the way, and she is a damsel in distress, and it's always the male character. It's very common in Disney cartoons, no, that this very beautiful lady or a princess is being saved by a prince. No, so there has been a sort of a mindset, no, na naging trend back in the US when these studies were conducted, no. Um, in the US, so children or young girls who are into Disney cartoons, they are most likely geared into thinking that they have to find their Prince Charming, no, in order for them to have a good life, and it is just so fitting for them to have a handsome young prince, no, and any difficulty, no, they should be someone like a prince in mind to save them. So that's just the typical narrative of Disney cartoons back in the days. But of course ngayon naman medyo nag innovate na or nag-recreate na din si Disney. So we have Frozen. At least ito, no, mas better na lang din yung narrative ng Frozen, since dito naman yung true love or the love that has been the main topic of the cartoon, or of the movie, of the animated movie, um, is the love that is transpired between two siblings or sisters, no. So at least Hindi naman na yung just the typical Prince Charming saves the day narrative na. And so just to go on about this research, no, they have found that women who self-identified who self-identified as princesses gave up more easily on a challenging task, just like what I've mentioned, and were less likely to want to work, and were more focused on superficial qualities that like making sure that they put their makeup on or dressing up. So um, those are some of the common things that has been bring up and nagagawang parang sort of mindset no sa young girls no. So dun yun pumutok yung issue na yun back in the days no. So but now I'm really glad that Disney is recreating their characters no, and now we have like Moana, medyo ang depiction naman ngayon, of course it's princess are not necessarily should be fair skin no. So and they've also included some indigenous groups no, so quite an effort no. So ayun, next I know some of you can really relate to this. You know the song Neneng B. So I know this one became viral last year, and this has been brought into the public, especially in social media. This has been discussed, no? Yung profanity and misogynistic lyrics no, ng Neneng B. So we call this case study as the Neneng B syndrome. No. So there's a particular study no, about, so they studied um, some lyrics found to be misogynistic in Philippine songs, no, rap songs, no, and you can also notice that um, in it's very prevalent and very common in rap songs. I am not saying that rap music is generally misogynistic, but it's a common trend na yung objectification ng women in their lyrics no. So always making love to her, ganun. So mga ganon lagi yung tunog no, and flow of the lyrics or themes no. So it's always sex, it's always luxurious lifestyles, and among others. So these songs some of songs in this particular study that has been um, conducted now, they find that these songs condone male hegemony, in which men find the domination and exploitation of women and other men to be not only expected but actually demanded. No? So not only expected. When we say male hegemony, what does that mean? No? So it means that men asserts domination. No, well, it's sad to say that we are still living in a patriarchal society. That's because if we go back to our history, no, of feudalism, no, so that is why up until now the macho feudal system is still existent, and that is what we are currently trying to battle against no. So that's the status quo. So sad to say na that's status quo. That's the kind of culture that we currently have no, and it's a very difficult one to you know to go against to. So ayun. Plus, these messages glorify violence against women, including rape, torture, abuse, and also foster an acceptance of sexual objectification, degradation of women. I hope na meron sana ako ditong lyrics with me, but ayun, anyway, you can. I know that some of you are familiar with the Neneng B song, no? So, and for those who are not, can look it up in the Google and find the lyrics. You can Google Neneng B lyrics. Yun. So, when I looked into that, I was really shocked. No, actually, this in one of my media studies classes, one of my students no made this particular so she chose to have this as a topic no for analysis itong Neneng B. And I found that wow, this song is really wow, grabe. Very very aggressive yung lyrics, and wow, grabe. So, and there are also a lot of it's been it's been a common trend nowadays, no? So, and themes circling around rape, abuse, and objectification. So these misogynistic themes first emerged in rap hip hop songs back in the 80s, and are especially apparent today with women being portrayed as sex objects and victims of sexual violence. Now, so that those are some of the things now that has been found in this particular study when they look into rap songs in the Philippines. Okay, and over the past 2 decades, um, the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women reported a tremendous increase in the representation of violence against women, particularly sexual violence in media. No? So, of course, those are some of the factors that has contributed in the proliferation of violence against women. And now we have online-based violence naman, which is another added dimension or layer in this topic. Okay. Another thing, so I've actually discussed this with my other in my other class, which was when I had my media landscapes lecture. So one of the most common issues in regards to the representation of women and in relation to body image is ayan, yung whitening products, no? So women, pagka whitening products, lagi babae yung endorser or yung point of comparison. So we have here, of course, the maputi girl and the morena girl. So laging may gano'n, no? And this particular ad has been it has been a steered up a conversation in social media. Kasi yun nga, maputi lang favorite ka na ni boss, unfair, 'di ba? So um it actually promotes that um, body image, no, or identity on women. No? So there's a they are trying to say um, that women who are fair skinned are the ones who are always on top, or they have this advantage if they have this fair skin. So you have to buy those whitening products in order for you to be on top of things in the workplace, in having relationships. So ayun, na mas angat ka and mas you will be socially accepted if you are fair skinned. Okay. So today, marketing skin whiteners is more than just trying to appeal to Filipino standards of beauty. So, ayun, standards of beauty and body image yung ating pinag-uusapan. So, binabox ng particular na mindset na ito yung standards of beauty natin. Ano. So, for Filipinos, having a lighter complexion is desirable because it signifies social status. Pag maputi ka, of course, ano daw, ang implication, aircon daw yung bahay mo. So, maputi ka daw dahil fully air conditioned yung bahay mo, and you're not exposed in the sun. So, you are rich, you have money. So, ganun daw yan, noble ancestry. Meron siyang, ano siya, a half. So half American, half ano. So laging gano'n, no? It's always a it's always a great kumbaga parang if you strike a conversation with someone, pag minention mo na, I'm half Filipino, half American. So it's something that it's not parang kailangan mo siyang i-mention, something that is really novel and of importance when you relate it to identity and self-image, di ba? So, kapag it sets the colonial mentality that if you have a mix in your blood, so if you're half American, half Canadian, whatever, no, parang and you're a mestiza, so it's something that's desirable now. Ayan. And nakakaangat ka din sa buhay. So economic status, we're also relating it to economic status. Pagka maputi, we have this identification. If you're fair skinned, you are not just you're not just mayaman, but as but beautiful as well, no? And smart, no? So ayan. Bakit nga ganon? No? And now we go into gender-based harassment and hate. All right. Okay, so silencing women. So we will talk more about um, online-based harassment on women. So feminist scholars understand gendered online harassment as a reflection of broader cultural understandings of gender and women's inferior place in society. And gender-based hate is an attempt to reassert the natural dominance of men. So it has been, I'm like, again, I'm sad to say that the current society that we are living in, it's always men who has this dominance. No? So they are the dominant group in society. So it's always the male. No? So and they are just reasserting their natural dominance. No? So it's parang it's already a given that men are greater than women. And gender-based hate and sexual harassment are intended to restore both women and men to their place. So putting specific genders in their place. So women are just is for this one, and men are should be for these things. No? So there's a categorization, no, of what men should do versus women should be doing. No? And reinforce the difference between genders. So it's um, it's putting or delineating that certain line now between the two genders and the other gender. So hindi lamang men and women ito, may other genders pa. No, so we're talking of course about LGBT soji, no. So ayun. And sexual harassment creates a climate of intimidation and repression. A woman who is the target of sexual harassment often goes through the same process of victimization as one who has suffered rape, battering, or other gender related crimes, frequently blaming herself and doubting her own self worth. So I know that you've heard about the term victim blaming, which is very, very common and prevalent today, especially in social media. So bakit parang yung rape victim pa, yung parang nahihiya, especially in court. So, actually, one of the things na very, the women are struggling with today is, yun nga, in situations in court, for example, for rape victims, no, na merong sessions in court, you know that it's really, it has been found in a study, no, and also according to psychologists, no, um, rape victims who narrate their story in court are really traumatized. It's very traumatizing for them to repeatedly narrate how they were raped, no? But of course, kailangan kasi in court. So it's that ano for evidence, of course, and for the due process to roll out. So it's a very hard situation for women who experience um gender related crimes, harassment, rape, no, it's because of this, what we call victim blaming. So, when we talk about victim blaming, of course, we see that, no, even kahit wala, hindi pa involved ang rape, no, na, okay, you got called out because look what you're wearing shorts, you're wearing spaghetti straps, no? So, parang, okay, is it my fault because I wore this for self-expression? So the point here is no, that we are repeatedly striking this conversation between who's to blame. No? So ang ano lang dito, point lang is if there have been many cases no, in which um, in which a 5-month-old baby has been raped, a 3-year-old toddler has been raped, no? A girl in fully clothed in a school uniform has been raped. So point is, it's not about how women wear their clothes, but what we need to diminish, or what we need to you know um go what we need to destroy here and disrupt here is the rapist's mindset, no? So on how men think of women, no, on how they sexualize and objectify women, no? So if a rapist, um if this certain if this certain person who is deemed as a rapist, no, um sees a woman, it's still the perversion that, you know, it's still the perversion that results to rape, no? It's the particular act, no, and it's the particular mindset that has been um being proliferated in society, you know, the objectification of women. But it's not about how women should wear their clothes, or how women should talk, how women should treat their relationships, or treat or relate to other people. So what we need to discuss really here is what proliferates the rapist's mindset na. So it's always the rape. It always goes down to the rapist. But what commonly happens is that the victims are always to be blamed. Oh, nakipag-inuman ka kasi with these boys. So parang nagiging ano na lang siya, a given that hindi ka dapat makipag-inuman with boys, or that you should not wear clothes na revealing. So, 'di ba? So, it's something very alarming and problematic, no? Yung ganyang mindset. And mind you, it's very common. It's a very common mindset among young and adult boys. Okay. And that is also wanted to say that it's also because of the lack of sex education here in the country. Hindi na ibababa, or especially in our current um, educational system, sex education is really lacking here in the Philippines, no? So what are some critical areas responsible in perpetuating online-based harassment? So the reinforcement of sexism through memes. No? So one of the most common na mga na mga media messages that we see that objectifies women. No? So ayan, I have there some examples. They say a woman's work is never done. Okay, so although all throughout the study, one thing remains constant, that the men are the ones who refuse to accept these memes represent sexist ideology, subscribe to such sexist notions that women are supposed to be paid less than men, that women who don't have premarital sex are prudes, and so on. So all of these are currently um, are currently brought out in the public, no, and it's parang nagiging normal siya, so it's being normalized, no. So that's what we see, and it's also same and true in some shows, especially in American shows, no, comedies and Western TV shows, no. So actually, they are the ones um, who have na nagpasimula nitong mga ganitong mga memes and other stereotypes, no, and misrepresentation of women, no. So ayun, and it's very appalling to see that a lot of us, or the general public, find it funny and even cool sometimes, no. So ayun, something to really rethink, na ayan. Now we go into cyber stalking and cyber harassment. Cyber harassment involves the use of ICT to intentionally humiliate, annoy, attack, threaten, alarm, offend, and or verbally abuse individuals. So, and in here we are talking about this is very common among women or female users. Cyber harassments may also involve targeted harassment. So it can be very specified and targeted, no, where one or more persons work together repeatedly to harass their target online over a finite period of time, no, to cause distress, humiliation, and or so silence the target. So I'm not sure if you've already discussed about lynch mobs. So ito yung pinagtutulungan yung isang the victim, no, online, no. So magpo-post ng isang picture or a meme and then tatag itong si victim, and then some groups may mga troll armies or kung sino pa yung mga na nagli-lynch mob against this particular individual. So this particular individual is being attacked online. So ayun, I'm not sure if you were aware of what happened to a student in UP Diliman just way back in 2019. No, so his name is Nacho. So he committed suicide after being lynched mob by online. So ayun, because of this parang binubuli siya online because he is involved in a fraternity, and that nag-leak yung mga pictures niya that he is involved in frat-related violence and misogynistic text messages with his fraternity. So ayun, so that's one thing that's really alarming today, no? So lynch mobs, cyberbullying, and harassment. So, and of course we are not just relating to women, but of course in the general public, no? Or public in general. So cyber harassment may also involve ayun, so it's to cause distress and humiliation. This is to publicly humiliate a person, and ayun nga, madami ng cases ng suicide and individuals resorting to commit things that endanger their lives or the lives of their loved ones, no. So ayan. Also, more often it results to depression and anxiety. Okay. Now, how do we counter gendered online harassment? Okay. All right. So, how do we counter or battle against online-based harassment or online violence against, especially online violence against women? So first is gender mainstreaming. So what is gender mainstreaming? Gender mainstreaming is the public policy concept of assessing the different implications for people of different genders of any planned policy action. So actually, lahat ng ahensya ng gobyerno and institutions, even schools, no, they have the GAD office, no, or the gender and development department, no, or area, no, in their agency or institution, and even in schools, no. So talagang may pondo yan, no. And one of the things na sinusulong ng GAD in any institution is gender mainstreaming. So how do we push for gender mainstreaming, no? So mainstreaming essentially offers a pluralistic approach that values the diversity among people of different genders. So hindi lamang women, but of course the LGBT SOGI, no? So how do we push for that? Okay, so some of the things, of course, the usage, no, of common terms, no, especially in communication. This also seems true in, there's also what we call gender mainstreaming in communication, no? So the usage of, instead of using hi guys, so you try to utilize hello folks or hi people, and also the usage of terms such as, for example, if you relate to the highest position in a company or in an institution. So you of course call that as a date, no, a chairman or a chairwoman. So in order to mainstream communication, no, or usage of terms, we say chairperson, no. So those are some of the initiatives that we can do, no, para lang din magkaroon tayo ng isang to promote gender equality, you know, in terms of communication. And of course, how do we push for gender mainstreaming at home, in the domestic setup or in the workplace, by diminishing gender based roles, no. So pinupush nga actually ngayon natin, no. So like for example in TESDA, they are there are trainings offered for professions like welding. No, they're also offered to women. So a woman can undergo training for welding, construction. So yun, ganun na. So we are trying to diminish gender-based roles, no, in society. So that's one way of pushing for gender mainstreaming. What else? How we relate to characteristics of women, no? So oftentimes yung, especially this also I've been seeing din, no. I'm just not sure if you were able to see this things occurring online, no, yung mga textbooks natin, no. So there are gender roles, no, even in textbooks, in our elementary books, in our high school textbooks, you know, na may mga questions like ano ang ano ang mga responsibilidad ng isang nanay, no. So may mga pagpipilian ka doon, ano, you match it with nag-aalaga sa bata, so mga ganon. So sa ngayon, those are some of the things na nilolook into, no, na tinatry na i-proofread, no, and revisit yung ating mga textbooks that that boxes up, no, gender roles, no. Or so those are some of the efforts for gender mainstreaming, no. So but when we talk about gender mainstreaming, like here in the definition, it should be in a planned policy action. So there should be, why, in order for us to, you know, make sure that we implement that people really go for it. Because if you won't put something into an action plan, into something legal, well, oftentimes, you know, people or the public would just shove it away, or not really, hindi naman talaga masyadong papansinin. Why? Because it's something that's convenient, and it's something that we currently have in the status quo. It's something that we are used to, no? So ayun, it's actually an effort, no, to go for gender mainstreaming, but it will go a long way. Okay, now how do we report individuals and groups online that perpetuates online based harassment, no? So where can a victim report online harassment cases? So the DOJ Cybercrime Division of the National Bureau of Investigation, the Cybercrime Division, and the Philippine National Police Cybercrime Group accept and handle these kinds of cases. So ayan. So that's one of the campaigns of the PNP Women and Children Protection Center. No, ayun. Ito ay dress, hindi ito yes. So the way women dress up is actually a suggestion that they are open to sexual activities. No? So hindi ito yes. It should not be suggestive. It should not dressing something up does not mean that they are looking or asking for it. Okay. Ayan. Who can file a case? The DOJ said that any victim can file a report against online harassment or other cyber crimes, even through a representative, because oftentimes, of course, there might be some young individuals who cannot really speak out, no? So they are accompanied by an adult, or their guardian, no, to file a case, no? So if for teens, I know that a lot of young people has been experiencing online harassment in one way or another, may it through a simple chat, or through sex on text or whatever, no. So there are a lot of forms of harassment occurring, no. So some young women are really scared to speak out or to ano, but it's really it's really advised that, it should that this should be reported so that actions could be um taken, no, kasi oftentimes parang dina-downplay lang natin because it occurred online, no. So online lang din naman yan, so there's no actual rape, but actually verbal abuse, and it's also included in the cybercrime division, that when you are harassed through sex on text or ano, counted na siya, no. So it's something that should not be downplayed, and something that should be brought out in the public, no. So yun din papasok dito na naman yung ating #MeToo movement, no. So yun nga lang, it's nakakalungkot lang kasi most often young women are very hesitant to report these cases, no. So what do you do in when filing a report? So first, you have to gather evidence and proof of cyberbullying, harassment. So some screenshots would suffice and be the basis of any case that will be filed. So ayon, and some receipts that can be proved to as a form of harassment, and report the harassment case to authorities armed with evidence, head to the cybercrime divisions of the PNP, NBI, or DOJ. Ayun. And actually, you can also later we will also cover some non-profit organizations, no, that advocates for VOW, or violence against women. So actually, you can reach these hindi lamang yung ating government agencies like the PNP, the NBA, or the DOJ, but of course you can also try to reach out to some organizations that advocates that are against violence on women. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So we have Gabriela, the Gabriela party list organization is of course the oldest women's movement here in the Philippines. No? So let's go to their particular case study here. So Gabriela, the fight against women on women in the Philippines. So this is the Gabriela experience. The Blow a Whistle campaign. They have the Blow a Whistle campaign. So actually, Gabriela has a lot of advocacy. So one of which is Blow a Whistle campaign, which is part of their VOW advocacies. They also have the Purple Rose campaign. Ito naman, they are advocating for children who are illegally traded, no, or who have been into white slavery, no. So they cover not only they advocate not only on women's rights but also children's rights. So this one, the Blow a Whistle campaign, aims not only to educate women but also to arm them against violence through a whistle that they could use. So it's a literal whistle in times of danger to draw attention and help from others. No, so this campaign is also meant to teach women how to break the culture of silence surrounding cases of VOW or violence against women. No? Because, like what I've been repeatedly saying, the problem is the current culture that we have right now, the repressed culture that we currently have right now, the macho feudal system that we currently have right now. So it's the culture now, and it's one way to break the system is for women to speak out, because oftentimes women are being silenced now, and that is because of those I've mentioned, victim blaming, and the normalization of gender roles in society, in Philippine society. Okay. So service to VOW victims and survivors is also ongoing. Aside from individual psychosocial counseling, home visits, providing shelter, and legal assistance to victims, Gabriela also helps women survivors of violence organizations in their certain focus group discussions, no, or the GCF. Okay. So some of the agencies and organizations to reach out. Okay, so I've already mentioned, of course, PNP, DOJ, the Division. So we go back now again to our legalities. No? So I will mention here, no, Republic Act number 9262, or Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004. This is the so-called VAUSI Act. No? So this has been one of the main campaigns of numerous women centered groups here in the Philippines, especially Gabriela, and also Philippine Commission on Women, of course, as the official agency here in the Philippines, advocating for women's rights. So these agencies are tasked to formulate programs and projects to eliminate VOW based on their mandates, as well as develop capability programs for their employees to become more sensitive to the needs of their clients. So this has been cascaded in different institutions, and that is why every government agency has a GAD office or department, the gender and development. So this is one of the main focus of these departments of the GAD, no, is to advocate for the anti-VAUSI campaign, no? And in order for them to push for these laws that protects the rights of women, especially against violence. Okay, so to wrap everything up, so just to summarize everything, so we have already discussed, I know this is a very broad topic, but I hope that you were able to, pick out some vital points here and information. So first, we've discussed and defined um, gender equality, and of course the situation of women in today's media. We've encountered the terms gender mainstreaming and gender equality, and of course violence against women. So these are very um, prevalent issues that needs to be discussed repeatedly, no, especially in digital platforms, no, especially that we have unregulated media messages, and also of course defined the term stereotyping and representation, no. So just to give you an idea, of course the representation is from the representation theory, how particular groups, individuals, for example women and other genders, are being depicted in media, uh, as to their character, how they their profession, their work in society, how they relate um, to specific groups as well. So if we go back to the representation theories, by the way, by Stuart Hall, so you can try to look into media theory for you. So you can look it into. So and if we relate to media studies, this particular area here, on stereotyping and representation of women in media, is a very large theme and topic that has been a center of conversations and discourses in media, especially in media, no? And in general, of course, in across sectors, no? So ayon, and of course we've also learned about how to counter these women related issues, as to online based harassment and violence, and of course how to respond to these issues um, by of course going for and reporting this to these issues and violations to particular agencies, to the specific agencies, and some of the proper steps to take, no, in order for us to battle this recurring issue right now that harms our young children, that harms women, young children, teens, no. So hindi lamang actually women, but everybody, no. So and also the and also other genders, like of course the LGBT soji, who are
Good luck, Gab. I'll see you. I'll see you on.
ay, ayan. So just wrapping up this lang, Gab. So ayan, who are also involved, no. So actually online based harassment hindi lamang siya zeroed in women, no. So anyone can be a victim, no. So
Before we wrap up, can we have one question?
ay sige, go.
Um, Actually, we have, I don't know, we have two questions before we end.
Ay sige lang.
First question, how to support someone who has been sexually assaulted?
Okay, all right. So actually, okay, how to support someone who's been sexually assaulted online, or like okay, like in various situations lamang, no. Okay, so this is ano lang, I've been with some groups kasi involved in VAUSI, especially in online based harassment. So ang isa sa advice talaga is not to force that individual to speak out agad, to narrate everything, because like what I've mentioned, if they get to tell their story all over again, it's parang they revisit that certain trauma or that certain circumstance wherein they've been harassed, or which is very detrimental to the mental health of the victim. So of course, do not force this and this the particular individual to immediately speak out. And ang pinaka logical na gawin is, if you know someone, or if someone goes to you, asks help asks help and support, no, and if they've been victims of harassment, is to um, escort this person or this individual, and give support on how to report this particular case in agencies, and ayon, in agencies, in order for if that person wants that it wants to bring it up to the, of course, to legal terms, no. So ayon, so um that's the most logical thing to do. But of course, tag nito, it can be case by case, kasi may iba ding mga kababaihan, or there are some individuals who are really hesitant because it might involve their someone who is with them at home. So hesitant sila kasi baka saktan, because some of them might have threats, no, that comes along, no, if they get to speak out, no, and report that. So simply because of course prevalent din yung sexual harassment and rape cases at home, no. So maring they're with the predator, with their predator, no. So pwedeng ganun. So just need to make sure provide a sense of comfort and safety first, very first thing to do to that particular person, who has been harassed, no. To give them a certain sense of peace, no, and security, no, that their information that they relate to is safe with you, no. So first thing is to comfort them, and then ask them what they want to do or go about it, no. So if they want to report it and they are very hesitant, so and what help you can offer. So do not go for unsolicited advice. It's a no-no, because these, at that certain point in time when a rape victim, no, kung fresh pa yung lahat, they are very sensitive pa, and they are kumbaga, they are not in a kumbaga parang everything doesn't make sense to them pa na as of the moment. So it's a flight or fight approach, no, for them. Kapag fresh pa yung mga nangyari, no. So it's a flight or fight response, no. So and most often ang nangyayari talaga is most women tend to just to shut up and not talk about it, or kung meron man lalapitan nila yung kanilang friend or someone they trust to, and and tell something about it, but then it doesn't get pushed through yung cases. Kasi ito din, it's very sad to say, guys, na um, very sad to say, people, that currently, of course, our justice system, even though madali mag-report ng rape case, ang problema, mabagal ang proseso, no? Basta when it comes to rape and harassment, because it's evidence is very hard to, to follow, and there are a lot of prerequisites. So sad to say na ganun ang current situation. Madaling mag-report ng rape, pero mabagal ang proseso or ang due process. So ayun, first very logical thing to do is comfort, provide a sense of comfort and security to that person, and then ask that person what he or she wants to do about her situation. Ayun. Always ask the person and do not give unsolicited advice. Ayun.
Sige, B, last na lang.
Sige.
Reflection on the question from Paolo. Paolo, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, good evening. This is just a very quick reflection. Actually, the discussion about gender and development is really a serious issue. Kasi napapansin ko nga lang din, as we are offering smart media parenting for parents, ang madalas talagang population namin is mga magulang, lalo na dun sa mga rural areas, sa mga provinces, kasi nga sila yung naiiwan sa bahay, sila yung nag-aalaga ng anak, and yun yung mga nagiging mga nagiging challenges pa rin sa pag-take when it comes sa, as much we want to achieve a 1:1 ratio men and women distribution, pero pag-usapin kasi ng parang pag-webinar, pag-training daw ng ganyan, madalas mga babae. And for my question lang din, based on the data you've presented, ano na ba ang status ng media ngayon? I mean, the gender equality in our media in the Philippines right now, as we were being dominated now by great directors. Kasi kung makikita natin sa independent films and even in the mainstream, dominated na tayo ng mga mahuhusay na babaeng director. But are we achieving now the gender equality when it comes to the media and entertainment industry?
Okay. Very good question. And thank you so much for that, Paolo, for that question. Like what Gab mentioned, I'm an independent filmmaker as well, no? And just recently, I've had my film currently in Pista ng Pelikulang Pilipino. So currently, ang mga efforts ng government, like the FDCP, we've had recently Cinemarya Women's Film Festival. So FDCP chose 12 finalists to fund the production of women-centered films. So may mga ganun naman may mga ganun naman tayong mga efforts, no, or initiatives. And of course, there are also some webinars, seminars, and featuring women in the film industry, in media. Ang maganda lang din sa ngayon kasi, Paula, with roles or careers in film, no, with editing. Pag sinabi nating editing, 'di ba, parang laging lalaki or the techie guy, ganun yung concept natin. But actually, a good statistic here, there's a little bit of statistics here showing na there are rising women editors, no. And actually, kahit sa mainstream cinema, no, maraming mga women editors na. So there have been, roles are medyo may efforts naman sa gender mainstreaming when it comes to roles in Philippine cinema, no, and in media kahit papaano. But yun nga, because of the current culture that we have, hindi pa rin talaga maiiwasan yung stereotyping, no, ng kababaihan as to what women can do, no? So even though may efforts, it's still recurring. Sorry, I don't have the current maybe stats or studies, but it's something that I will look into. And maybe there might be some studies ngayon. Actually, I know there's a study conducted last year about I think it's a master's thesis, no, in UPFI, in UP Film Institute, about documentary filmmakers, women filmmakers. So it's actually on the rise, and I am proud to say that I am one of the women who are into documentaries. Recently, I've had my documentary, which you can also view right now then sa may FDCP channel. So I did my documentary about breastfeeding in the Philippines. No, so there's a certain trend that women are into documentary filmmaking. No, so and into filmmaking as well. No, so women script writers, screenwriters are also on the rise. No, so um, it has been ginagawa na ding effort din by far ng mga agencies sa ngayon. But with the current culture that we have in media, yun nga sinasabi ko lagi na ang hirap basagin. Ang hirap basagin ng kultura ng patriarchal system that we have right now, in the macho feudal system that we have, no, to begin with, no. But these efforts are, baby steps now that we can take. So first, in order for us to go forth in pushing gender mainstreaming is diminish roles, no, in the workplace, in media, in the different sectors, in the development sector, in the business sector, in the corporate sector, and especially in the corporate setup, or in the corporate world, no, wherein very prevalent yung misogyny, no. So ayun, those are some things that we have to push for, no. And okay, and
Yes, B.
ayun. Ay, kala ko, sorry for that. And naalala ko lang din, so just to go back to what Paolo mentioned, yung sa mga remote areas daw, if you go for if they go for webinars, yung talagang nire-respond is yung mga nanay, yung mga kababaihan. Well, yes, hindi natin talaga maiiwasan yun. Like ako, I am a mom, I have 2 kids, no? So parang it's always parang nagiging mandatory na sa culture natin to have that mindset na kapag kids, children, raising kids, child rearing, it's always the women, no. So it's a traditional Filipino mindset, no, that we have also to start to rethink and try to deconstruct, no. So I always like the word deconstruct, no. So pwede naman kasi, no. So ayun.
Sorry, naka-mute ako. We need to wrap up kasi medyo overtime na tayo. Pero before we close, B, I just also want to highlight na the gender in media is not exclusive to women, okay? Yung issue ng representation is also an issue for many other marginalized sectors, including the LGBTQ, the transgender community. And I do think and I believe na mas maraming representation ngayon na nangyayari sa mainstream media. And I do think na one step at a time, as much as possible, with constant exposure and with understanding, I think that we are actually trudging the right path in this conversation of being more inclusive as a society in general. Okay, let's give Mel our virtual clap. This is the last session of Mel, and thank you so much, B, for helping Media Civics Lab and our SK and youth leaders to really have a better understanding about this topic. And hopefully, maraming natutunan, because I'm also really sure na mas maraming natutunan ang ating mga youth leaders right now. They're equipped to the topics na discuss mo on alternative groups in media and even the digital responsibilities. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Media Civics Lab's third to the last learning session about creating a culture of positive participation. And for tomorrow, our topic will be all about identifying shareable content and newsworthy content. Okay, so the instructor for tomorrow will be Mara Barbara Nanaman. She is a teacher from, she's a debate coach and a teacher from Indonesia International School. Okay, so see you guys tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. to 7:30. We'll be having our conversation, and that will be the second to the last. And I will be your instructor for Media Civics Lab last session on Friday. So also, I hope that you guys are going to join us on Friday. So thank you guys. Sana hindi kayo nainis sa background noise ko. Ang daming mga pabanda dito sa Greenbelt. Masyadong Christmas yung feels dito. Pero sana okay kayo. Sana you're all safe and sound, and see you all again tomorrow. Bye!
Thank you. Bye.